Hey guys, LSP. So I'm going to go over what I'm expecting for this session, and then we'll clip a bunch of videos together as we trade throughout the day. Hopefully we can capture as many trades as we can. So it's currently the 16th of January 2026, and I'm expecting this level up here to be traded to. If I just come out a little bit, just to kind of show you on the hourly what all of this looks like. We had these levels up here where price was banging up against, comes all the way down. Just think of this as one complete swing. So it comes all the way down and then all the way back up, revisits the highs, revisit the high, tags it, goes through it, tags it again, goes through it. Really nice response. We know that this level down here is in control of this entire swing. And then that response right here has put us all the way back to, I'd say, 3/4 of this entire swing. And then this pullback recently, yesterday, really nice pullback, and then we're just grinding and grinding and grinding. So I think, as expected, we're probably just going to keep either sort of grinding higher, or we're going to sort of run into this level quite aggressively. So there's a couple of things I'm looking at. If price drops on the open, I'll be looking to buy. If price runs really quickly, okay, I may potentially grab a buy going into this high or potentially into this high. But if it accelerates really, really quickly, I'll be looking to short up here and fade the move. Remember, we have these price points in terms of movement, right? So from this point where we currently are to this high, it's 177 points. And then from where we currently are all the way down to the recent swing low, where there's no liquidity here. It's all been cleaned up, right? So if it does get back down here, the likelihood is it's going to come and reach into this level. So we can extend this a little bit to maybe here. So around about 195 to 200 points, right? So there's plenty of range either side, and there's plenty of opportunity for us to be taking trades. So that's where we're at here on the 16th pre-market. It's currently 210. So we'll see where we fare or how we fare when the market opens. What I'll also do is I'll make a note of this level here, which is significant. That's where the next round of liquidity is. And if we just drop down to the 15, just to complete our analysis pre-market, so we can refine this to here. Right, so that's where we're currently at. If price gets anywhere near this, it'll probably just shoot straight into this. In terms of range, you're talking right about 23. I mean, I wouldn't want to be doing that in terms of, say, price gets down here, take a short into this level. But that last 23, I'd expect price to accelerate quickly into this level. And then this is where I would want to be a buyer down here. All right, so we'll leave it there. We'll see how we fare, and I will record as many of these live trades as I can. All right, guys, chat in a bit. Hey, guys, it's LSP. Just looking at this drop on the NASDAQ. It's currently the 16th. Just to give you a little bit of context of what we're looking at here. So this is the 5 minute. This was the hourly low. Broke through that after the open. And we are driving towards 25.6. Just kind of see if there's a level here of interest. I mean, we could even see down here today. There's no liquidity left here. This is pretty efficient. So if price really wants to go, it's going to rip. And you can see we sweep these highs. Just tapped into this a little bit. And then reverse completely. So we're down at 600. You can see the response from 02 to 12 is 10 points. It's nothing. Like I said, it still feels a little bit heavy. Just looking at the hourly on the other screen, there's still plenty of movement to the downside available. And we have this level here of interest. So just here, around 560. I would love for price now to just literally fall out of bed and go straight to this level, and then I'm a buyer straight away. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to capture that moment where price capitulates. So I'm buying at that moment where the timing is as perfect as it can be for me to get in and not have to deal with, me grabbing it here, for example, and then price goes all the way down here. And if I add to the position, my average is halfway, and then I've got to wait for what I would normally be taking as a profit just to get back to break even. So re-listen to what I've just said, because it's really important. We've got to be very careful how we're getting into trades. And there's no rush. Really, there's no rush at all. So, we have to be patient. We've got to take what the market's giving us and just be mindful. of a lot of the nuances. When I talk about the nuance curve, this is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about instances where we get a little bit of relief, but there's no follow through on that relief. And you can almost feel that the sellers are still in control of this, right? The bleeding hasn't finished yet. So again, we're going to let it do its thing. I know what level I'm looking at, there or thereabouts, between 60 and 65-ish, somewhere around here. I'll be comfortable buying my first position or picking up the first 0.4. We moved up to 0.4s now instead of 0.3, and then we'll take it from there. But again, I need to see that acceleration going into that level. We're currently on the 5-minute. And then once I buy, I will, assuming it does what I want, I'll drop down to the minute and we'll take it from there. Now we need acceleration into this level. That's what we're looking for. And remember, a lot of this is tracking liquidity. So this, I've already mapped this. I know exactly what I'm expecting if price hits this level. Go on. Bit more, bit more, bit more. That's it. Go, 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 go. I'm going to grab one there. Look at the response. And this is absolutely key. I can't stress this enough, guys, right? I've got time to think now, right? It didn't just keep going and going and going and going and going. Even that extra 5 minutes or sorry, even that extra 5 seconds or 10 seconds of relief gives me time to think, because I'm in an area where I almost know with a very high degree of certainty that I'm going to get some response at this level, right? So even if it continues going lower, I've got time now to just watch, see what's happening, and is the top end of this enough? It's not looking like it is, unless it really goes now and we get back to 80 at least. It's not looking like this is it, right? It does look like it wants to bleed, right? So we'll see if we get the 80. If we get the 80, I'm up about 15. Perfect, right? So that's a quick one. That's a very, very quick scalp. And you can see the difference. I take this right to the literally to the point, right? This is what I'm trying to do. For years and years and years, I've tried to really hone my skills to the point where I'm watching absolutely everything. Look at this response look at this response. And I'm going to bring this all the way over because I really want you to get this. Look at this response compared to this response and this response. So the first one, it hits, get a little bit of a muted response, nothing, drops again. It drops again, close to this level, a little bit of a muted response. This one, however, when it finally hits the liquidity pool, now we're getting enough, yeah? This is why it's so key to identify these liquidity pools with accuracy. It's not enough to just draw stuff on your charts and say, okay, well, I think it's going to be this one. You have to track liquidity, right? All of this is taught on the Patreon. You've got access to it. If you're watching this video, you've got access to the Patreon, right? So this is what we're looking for, right? And this, if you learn this skill and you take, we've had 30 points. I took 15. I'm happy with that, right? And I'm going to do this maybe another 3 or 4, possibly 5 times today if I get the movement that I'm looking for. And I'm done for the week. I'll be finished, for this week. I would have made, some decent money and I'm happy. So don't be in such a rush, to get these big, long moves, these, drawn out 50 pippers or 50 pointers, 60 pointers, 100 pointers. You don't need that. This is what you need. You need to learn to take 10, 15, 20 points on these quick trades, build up your account, build up your confidence, know that you can do that consistently, and then you can start to go for, or, evolve your trading methodology into something where you can potentially start to add scaling rules, trailing stops, take a little bit off, leave some of the portion on, get to your break-even points, etc., etc. And then you've got more, freedom with your methodology when you do it that way. So we'll call this trade there. And if I see anything else, I will record the next one as and when it comes. All right, guys, hope you're having a great day. Ciao for now. Hey guys, so just to follow up on the trade and the response that we've had from this level, so far we're talking about 42 points. And again, I want to emphasize, I apologize for repeating myself, but again, these things are very, very important. I really want to emphasize the level, okay? And why it's so important that when you're mapping price, that you're doing it in a way where you're identifying these levels, right? Not just saying, well, why not this one? Why not this one? There will be maybe small responses at these levels, but this was the one that it was reaching for. Why? Ask yourself these questions. Look at the way price is behaving on the way up. Look at this impulse. Look at that final run into this level. Look at the aggressive move away from that level. Why is price running so quickly trying to find liquidity if there's liquidity here, right? So again, very important that we study, very important that we track everything, and very important that we stay with one or two asset classes and just focus on those for a long enough period of time to give us, this experiential understanding, of the asset that we're trading. I traded cable for years, which is pound versus the US dollar. And I became so accustomed to its mechanics, the way it works, the nuances, etc., that it was very easy for me to kind of sit down because I looked at it every single day for years. And the same with QCOM when I was trading QCOM many, many moons ago. When you're watching something for so long, it becomes part of you, and you become naturally accustomed to the way it behaves. So study, 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 study. And when you get this, it will change your life. Chat to you soon. Hey guys, welcome back. So again, we are looking for another potential run to the upside here. So you can see price has just tagged this low and ran a little bit deeper into this LP. So let's see if we get that final drive to just clear it out completely, which would be good. And then we can take potential trade. I'd like to see it down at 45, to be honest. I really want it to just go. Yeah, again, it's the way price hits these levels, not just that it's hitting these levels. Very important, right? And as aggressive as this looks on the 1 minute chart, it's not that bad. When you look at the daily, we are still well within yesterday's bullish range. So we're in the top third of that daily candle from yesterday. So it's looking good. It's looking good. I still think that we are over time. Don't know how long it's going to take, but we're probably going to end up here at 25,860. And this level down here is another level of interest. So we're talking around 520 to 540. This would be a great spot to buy. But again, I'd like to see price really just drop out of bed into this level. You see how it starts to accelerate because it's reaching for liquidity. It's trying to find liquidity. This one isn't enough for me. I want to see more. Sell, picks up, sell, picks up, sell. So it's trading this back and forth. It's accumulating, distributing. It's working these levels, working the liquidity. Response from that final drop there, meaningless, really. So again, just want to see that final bleed into these levels where we'll probably finish, or at least put in the low of the day. And then, we won't really get much after that other than the first initial response of 15 to 20, possibly 30 points. There we go. Again, reaching quickly, which is what we want to see. The first I'd be looking here, or thereabouts around 45, is where I really want it. Go on a bit more. Just a bit more. Go on. That's the one. So I'll grab the first one there. Grab a second one there. Let's go back up to the 5 minute. One. And one. And that's as far as I'll go with this, with this particular position. So we're looking for at least 36 or 37. Be happy with that. And our average is about 28. Still want to see 40, it'd be nice. Let's go up to, or say down to the 1 minute and see where we're at with this. So the response, again, quite muted. But you see that final drive just there into the clean out of this liquidity. So we should get what we're looking for here. I think we see 40 to 45. I'll be happy with that. Still a lot of selling pressure though. Now at this point, because of the way that this is unfolding, I do not absolutely want to see this level traded through. At this point, I'm done. So this is the cutoff for this trade. And we should see what we want to see on this final run now. And as I was explaining, and I keep explaining, price, you get that first initial pop, which is what we got. But then, price needs to kind of work the level a little bit sometimes, as it's just kind of finding some bid just to run. And then we should see, if we're being super, super clinical, we should see this level here, which is what we're really vying for, to be honest, which is around 46. So let's just watch it play out. 41, 2, 4, boom. Beautiful. So happy with that. Just to go over a little bit of what we've just done. So you can see, obviously, we took that first initial trade here. Price continued to drop all the way into this level. This is the low, and it's not just because it's a low, it's because there's no liquidity here. So let me explain what I'm talking about. So you have the impulse here. Price picks up, runs, comes all the way down, picks up liquidity, starts to run very efficiently, back and forth, grinding, drop really aggressively to pick up the remaining liquidity down here. So this is all finished now, right? So what that means is, and this is not always the case, but what that generally means is that once the liquidity has been picked up and it's finished, there's nothing there, it's completely, battery's dead, right? It has to seek liquidity the opposite way. And that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for those opportunities where I know that liquidity's dried up completely and puts us in a position where we can take advantage of these snapbacks and these slowdowns, gives us time to think. So we just go to the 5 minute again, just to kind of close out the trade. You can see really, really nice response. And we had the range above us, in terms of that initial sort of run. So all good. I'll leave it there. Take one last look at the 1 minute. Yeah, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So now there's no liquidity here. So if it does come back, what's going to happen is, if I'm being super clinical, is price would come back and it would hit this level. And like I said, I think we've probably put in the low of the day. So that's how you catch a low of the day. All right, guys, I hope you're having a great day. I'll chat to you soon. Ciao. Hey, guys. So another potential fade here. So this is the next level that we are expecting price to come to. It's a little bit lower, actually, to there, which takes us just past the whole number. So I was wrong. It wasn't the low of the day. Price obviously still needs to keep going. And the level actually comes in there. So 488. Again, drop down to the 1 minute. Looking for that final drive into this level. One of the things you'll notice as well is I have my charts quite squashed up. The reason for that is because when you zoom in, it creates a bias, an emotional bias. If you do this, it kind of looks like it's ready to bounce, right? But if you do this, you get a much better idea of the overall structure of what you're looking at. I'd like to see that final drive into this level, which would be great. And all we're doing, guys, is we're just repeating the same things over and over and over and over and over again. That's it. That's literally what we're doing. And it looks like we're going to get this. So we'll monitor and I will be back shortly. So we're going to grab one there. If we get a quick pop back to 500, I'm happy with that. I'll just take it off. Don't get an opportunity to add to this, that's fine. I won't touch it until it hits 52. Nice little bounce. Stop at break even. Just want to see a pop through 500, probably see 503. And if we don't get this one, we'll catch it down here, because it means that price still needs to dip a bit. But I've been in enough of these trades to know how to manage them. So I lost 8 pence on that. It's nothing, but it's basically break even. But I've been in enough of these trades to know that when you kind of get this bleedy price action, that first little pop into this LP isn't enough. Look, you can see it's just not enough to just drive price higher. It still looks like it wants to bleed, potentially just drop into the lower level. So I think we are going to see 450 at this point. Another 35 points on the NASDAQ is absolutely nothing. So this will be the key moment here. If it gets above 500, and then we sort of get that final pop into 03, 05, 07. But as it stands, it just looks like it wants to continue bleeding. So we'll let it do its thing, and we will continue to monitor. And the reason I didn't take that is because I want to see acceleration into this level. So we may get this now. Still looks like it wants to bleed a bit more. It looks like it's reaching for this. That's what it looks like it's reaching for. 43. So there's no liquidity here now. Here. This is done. So if it drops, it's just going to, it should drive very quickly into this level, which is what I'm waiting for. If I don't get it, then that's fine. We just move on to the next. So that's what I was waiting for. You saw the drive right into this LP because there's nothing here to sustain or to support price. So we are getting very, very close now to the end point of this move. Now, if we take the entire hourly LP, we are talking from this point at least another 30 points. That's workable for me. I'm happy with that, right? If I would have to work within, you know, a sort of 30-point range from here all the way down to, say, 410, but it's not looking like that. That's going to be the case. And to be honest, I'm going to hold this one a little bit longer than I would normally hold because I've got a strong feeling that this may be the one that's going to take us back to 500. So let's just leave it for a little bit and see what we get. So we're up 20 points so far. So far, a nice little response. Again, expecting a little bit of pullback just to kind of chew up some of this liquidity. And then hopefully we get that second pop, which should take us to 67 to 70. And then we can kind of reassess from there. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So that's another little scalp. And I'll just kind of point out a few things here. This type of trading isn't for everybody. I know this. And I'm not trying to turn you into me. I'm hoping that through what I'm showing, it's going to help you to analyze the markets in a slightly different way, to give you the confidence to know that these LPs are indeed very, very important, to show that the person that you're listening to can do this consistently and can call levels literally to the pip. And the more that you see me do this, the more confidence you will have, you know, that it is possible to do this consistently over years. I've been doing this for a very long time, you know, and this is kind of molded. My entire methodology is molded into this counter trend idea of trading and scalping, you know, and I think so far today, we're probably close to about 65 points we've pulled from the market today. I'd have to go back and have a look, but it's about 60 to 65 points we've pulled from the market. You know, if you can do that consistently every day, you know, even 20, 30 points, you know, is you're writing your own check. So I'll leave it there, guys. I'm probably not going to be trading for the remainder of the day. So this will be the last one for the 16th. And I will look forward to speaking to you soon. Have a great weekend. Ciao for now.